Hi, this is Annette Sullivan from Lavender Thoughts. Have you seen these craft pillow boxes that are in the current annual catalogue? They're on page 193 and you get a pack of 10 boxes for $8.75. They're printed with a sort of a craft colour and printed with polka dots. Perfect to decorate for any little gifts that you want. But what if you want to make your own? You can use one of these for a template. So if you actually have a look at the size folded, it's 3 inches by 6 inches. And then you're going to need a little piece, I don't know whether you can see on the inside there, down in here, to join it together. So we probably want 6 inches plus a ½ inch by 6. So if we cut a piece of designer paper or cardstock, 6½ inches by 6 inches, and then we score it at 3 inches and 6 inches. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to fold that closed on these score lines. We're going to put this box over the top of it and trace the curves to cut out. Now you might want to use all these boxes, so what I have done is I have created my own little template with the curved ends on it. So I've just got a piece of scrap cardstock and I have traced that on there and cut it out, and traced it on there and cut it out. So the first thing we're going to do is to trace that on those two, and the next thing we're going to do is on this top side, we're just going to cut a little notch so that we'll be able to get into the actual pillow box. And I'm just using a ½ inch circle punch. I'm going to take it about halfway up. Okay, so we'll close it back up again and we'll cut along where we've done that curve. Okay. So our next step is going to be, we have these and we need these pieces to fold in. It'll be a bit hard to see on the camera there. We're going to have this piece so that we can fold it in. So before we glue anything together, we're just going to get our template. I'm just going to line that up with the ends there. Get our bone folder and just go around on that, on both ends, on both sides. And that's going to make it easy to pop the ends in when we want to use it. Now this designer I'm using designer paper here, and that comes from the Share What You Love specialty designer paper. And it's got beautiful pearlised designs on it, and it's quite a bit thicker than your normal designer paper, although your normal designer paper would probably be thick enough to do these boxes on. Okay, so I'm just going to get some tear and tape. We're going to add that to our strip here. I'm just going to put an extra piece in here. So this way you can match your pillow box to whatever project you're doing. You can make a card that uses the same designer papers or patterns. Okay, tear and tape is extremely sticky. So there we have our box. And then what we're going to do is where we've got these score lines on here, so you can get it up closer so you can actually see that. You can actually, I'm just going to fold that in on that. And then fold that in on there. If you've done your score lines heavy enough, that's going to fold in quite easily for you. fold in this one first. And we can fold in our second side. And there we have a beautiful little pillow box that's going to match one of our projects. So to quickly decorate this, I've cut another piece of designer paper from the same pack, and I have made that 1 1/4 inches by 7 inches, I think. Yes. And we're just going to make a bit of a belly band around it. So you're just going to put that round like that so that you line up in the middle. Just give it a little bit of a squeeze. Take that off there. And this time I'm going to use a little bit of Tombow glue to about there. Put that back on, it'll be easier to do that. Okay, just hold that for a minute so that it catches. Okay, and I'm going to get some of this new 1/8 inch gold cord. And we're going to tie this around here. Put that around the middle. It's going to be easy if I cut a piece off rather than try and do that on the roll. Okay, so I've got a nice little box, and that's going to come off. They can either untie it or take it off. But if you want to put a sentiment or something on there, which we're going to do, I'll just take that off for a minute. And to do that, we're going to use this new Darling Label punch set. It's beautiful tin, which comes with a set of 6 stamps, an acrylic block, 2 ink spots, a Night of Navy and a Grapefruit Grove, and of course the Darling Label punch. So I have just cut out a template here. Excuse me. And we're going to use the template on our Stamparatus. So when you open your Stamparatus, it's always nice to have just one of your cases here so that your lid will sit nice and flat for you. So I'm just going to line this template up on here, and it doesn't really matter where I put it. And all this is going to do is help us with our stamping to get it nice and even in the middle of the... So I'm going to use the Happy Birthday Friend for this one. Okay, so what you do is you're just going to line that up in the centre of your negative image there. I'm going to pick that up. Let it be right. Oh, there it is, hiding under there. So I punched that out earlier, so we've got one ready. And what we're going to do is we're just going to pop that in there and stamp on it. Now, it's always going to fit in one way a little bit better than the other. But before we do, I'm going to use Rich Roselberry ink because that's the colour ink that we've got in our box there. Now, if you want to be doubly sure you've got it in the right place, you can just stamp onto your scrap paper before you start. I haven't inked that up particularly well, but it looks like it's going to be in the middle, so that's fine. If it's not, you can just shift your template around slightly without having to move your stamp again. Okay, so let's give that a good inking this time. Now it's a brand new stamp, so it's probably going to take a little bit of inking. You can see it's not picked up at all. It's getting better. And you can actually see on the lid where the ink, I haven't pressed it down hard enough. I'll just give it another inking. Because it is a brand new photopolymer stamp. Now, just what I usually do when I get the new stamps is I get an eraser and just give it a bit of a rub and clean it off to get any of the oils that might still be on from the factory. Okay. Still not quite getting that top happy. Okay, so we have a nice little stamped sentiment to use on our project. I'll just use my old chamois to wipe all this ink off. You can just pop the stamper artist to one side. You may have seen some of my other videos where I show you in more detail about how useful this template idea is for not only your punches but also your framelits. If you haven't had a look, just go on to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to check out the details. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this over the top of where I've glued it down, so you're not even going to see that mark. So I have got some mini dimensionals here. Okay. So we can either have our ribbon going through underneath. As you can see, I've left the middle of the sentiment panel, the punched panel, with no dimensionals on it. So we can just do up our bow. Just trying to be a bit tricky for me tonight. It's new cord. Isn't that typical? Bows tend to want to work when you're trying to do it on a video or something. Okay, so we can slide that down to one side, like so, and then get our sentiment. And just pop that over there. And there we have a very pretty little gift box. Easy to make, a couple of minutes to put together. And if you have your little scrap sentiment. The only thing you need to know is that, I'll write that on here, is that you need a 6 inches by 6.5 inches. So if we just draw a little picture, that's 6 inches and that's 6.5 inches, and we're going to score at 3 inches and 6 inches. So pillow box. Alright, and that's ready to go. Now I could have made the template the full size 6 by 3 inches, but then you've got quite a big piece to keep in your little pack of templates, whereas this will just fit quite nicely to one side in a packet to use in future. Thanks very much for watching this. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will be back soon with more great projects for you.